This is Burn This Book, a podcast where we, Nicole and Eden, read a banned or challenged book twice a month and discuss its meaning, impact, and censorship to make it more accessible for all readers. This week's book is 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult, which was published in 2007.
Yay!
Woo!
Woo! I was under the impression that it was published way earlier because of the way it talked about school shootings. So let's jump into a summary before I get carried away.
I thought it was published way later because
What?
of how frequently it's been brought up in recent school ban book ban conversations.
Oh my gosh, I've never even heard of it.
Just banned in all Utah schools this month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of this book. Granted, I'm in Colorado. So I don't know. We're not banning books as free, like statewide as much as like in Utah, you know? So it's not as top of mind in like I don't know. And maybe just like school shootings are so much more frequent here that I can't imagine banning a book about them. Yeah. Considering how every day, I don't know. We will get into it. But
Nicole, can you give us a summary?
Oh golly. Yes, I can. So this is a book about a school shooting in a small town in, I believe, New Hampshire. And it's got quite the cast of characters that are all interwoven. And it kind of goes back in time. It does like these little time swaps where you're back in time with the alleged shooter as a child, jumping into the court case of when they're trying the shooting to figure out what sentence he'll get, yada, yada. The judge on the case has a daughter who attended the school. Her boyfriend was killed along with many of her friends. I believe 10 died in this shooting. This is a lot of trigger warnings also, by the way. And she and the daughter was best friends with the shooter when they were children. Also, there's like a love story too with the policeman / detective who's kind of flirting with the judge. So there's that thing going on. There's like this background story with the defense attorney. There's also this background story with the alleged shooter named Peter and his parents, and his older brother had passed away. It covers themes of homosexuality, bullying, popularity in school, I guess, sexual assault, domestic violence, sexism, interracial marriage, even.
Yeah.
Jumps into that. There were some parts where I was like, okay, Jodi.
Yeah.
let's just do like, okay. Like it felt very, I'm just going to get into it. At some point I was like, Jodi, you're kind of reminding me of white feminism at points where I'm like, do we have to go into that? Like, do we have to cover all of the things to make this, like, to make sure we've covered all the bases of like, this book is 100% inclusive on every single storyline. Yeah, and a spoiler, turns out that the daughter also shot one of the people, her boyfriend who died. So like, it gets complicated. Like, it's very true crime energy where we're trying to figure out the crime. Yeah. But there's also a love story with the mom and the
when I was doing research about this is I think the attorney and his office, they are recurring characters in her books. So it feels very like like Sherlock Holmes-y.
Oh, okay. That feels better to me. He's the one in the interracial marriage, and his wife is like really savvy and like is the one that gets all the answers in the end.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, who are these people? They were like almost like too smart for the town, and they were kind of outsiders. And you could tell they had like a deeper like angst about right and wrong.
They've seen things.
Okay. Okay, that feels better.
They've been through the ringer. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that feels better because I was like, okay, who are these two? They just didn't like 100% fit in.
Hmm.
Okay, and granted, I don't know Jodi's work as well. I call her
I
Jodi.
don't know. This is my first time.
This was
This is
my
my first
first,
Jody, but I've seen
yeah,
her name around.
totally have seen her name
Yeah.
at all the airports.
Uh huh.
Her
Uh huh.
books feel like very popular airplane travel reads, like 100%.
Yeah.
Is she the one that did the cancer book where like the My Sister's Keeper?
Oh, she might
Is
have.
that her?
Let me look really quick. Jody.
It was a very like it was a good read. Like she's such a good writer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I have a hard time with with school shooting literature or like fictionalized school shooting stuff.
How come?
Being an American.
Yeah.
I think I think growing up in that era, and maybe it's because I can tell if you haven't been a student in a school or an adjacently, I can tell if you haven't been really, really deeply touched by school shootings, that
Mm-hmm.
it's not part of your DNA. And I don't feel like it's part of Jodi's DNA. And I could be really wrong about this,
Yeah, I'm not
but
sure.
but
Yeah.
it didn't feel like it was. Um, like I'm from Littleton, Colorado. So my first
Mm-hmm.
memory is Columbine,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's a huge part of my education. Every year we have parents who lost children in Columbine. Growing up, they'd come to our school and talk to us about it. Like it's just like part of growing up. And I think every child since 1999 that's been in public schools has experienced that in America.
Yeah.
And we all have experienced like massive, like we all have like if we haven't been touched by it, like if we haven't lost someone in a school shooting, we're part of the generation who had to do the drills every year for school shootings, you know, and like it's a different energy to for it to be so normal. And I don't like you can just tell when someone hasn't experienced that like very normal the normalized fear of going into school and being like, yeah, this could be a day where someone comes and shoots up the school, or the normalized like realization of like this person in this class could be the one. Like I
Yeah.
remember having that thought a lot, and like I
Mm.
would say in my school district there were I don't know how many schools. Arapahoe High School was down my street where there was a school shooting. Like, there's just a lot of schools. And Eden, I know you've experienced that too. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
anyone that's our age that hasn't experienced a very close proximity
Yeah.
to a school shooting and just like the normalization, the confusing normalization of it.
Well, I would say we do know plenty of people who have not
That's
been in
true.
close proximity
That's true.
and
That's really true.
don't have the sympathy, or not even sympathy, just
Maybe
out
awareness.
awareness, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, it's just always yeah. And now as we're talking about this, I'm like kind of assessing how I'm approaching education with my children as well, where part of me does want to keep them in their private schools. And I wonder if that is like a subconscious response to, well, yeah, like Sandy Hook losing a kindergarten class. Like
Yeah.
my kid's not even in kindergarten yet. And so I'm like, heck yeah, she's staying in private school. Like, no way she's going to a public school. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's just public school. I think private school too. Like, I just don't know if we know all the schools because it's so frequent.
mm-hmm.
But I do think it's so out of sight, out of mind. It's so normalized. But when you're a kid, like you do just have that fear. You just have that awareness, and I think every teacher has that awareness.
Yeah.
And I think private schools are just as vulnerable, to be completely honest. Not to like keep drilling in this fear. Eden, you're never safe. That's not
Mhm.
what I'm trying to say. But like, but I do think like I hate this, but like it is just like it's mass shootings don't discriminate against one group. Like just because you live in one town doesn't mean it's not going to happen there.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people do think that. And I don't know why it happens more in places like Colorado or other places like that. People claim it's like the elevation or the altitude, which doesn't
Mhm.
make any sense because then we would have had them consistently since the dawn of time. Like we would have
Yeah.
had our violence would have been higher. Like I just there's things that don't make sense. I don't know. What I'm saying is I think there you can read when this is a real tragedy that's still happening regularly and no one is doing anything about it. I can tell when people are using it for like entertainment purposes. And I don't think that's what Jodi's doing, but sometimes when I'm reading things or watching something that's using this type of story to just like add it to the drama meter, I can
Mhm.
tell and it kind of grosses me out. Like there's
Yeah.
an era of TV that just like did a lot of mass shootings in their schools. Like Degrassi did it.
Oh.
One Tree Hill had an episode where there was a school shooting. Yeah, Degrassi had an episode of a school shooting. Um, I feel like I don't know if the OC did, but I feel like 90210 did. Like all those teen dramas that have like a high school base,
Mhm.
they all decided to have one school shooting episode, and it just felt like icky because no one was doing
Mhm.
anything about it. And sometimes when I was reading this book, it did feel a little bit like, okay,
Yeah.
totally understand this. And then to add like the love story aspect to it kind of grossed
Yeah.
me out.
That
I don't know. It was just like little echoes. I was like, Jodi, I don't know. I don't know about this. It was very well written. Very well written.
Uh-huh.
But a little
It's
bit like, oof.
yeah, it's actually pretty interesting because I did it did give me a lot to think about because the main thing I took from it, which
Mm-hmm.
is like while doing research was not a thing that came up,
Oh, tell me.
is um toxic masculinity and how it leaves both boys and girls vulnerable.
Oh, that's a
Whether
good thought.
yeah, whether on like a large scale mass shooting or on an intimate scale of domestic violence.
Mm.
And how I read it is like how society has failed men and how in turn then men fail and then actively harm society and
Mm.
the ones they love. But then like I was reading all the and that was my interpretation and then uh reading all the commentary around it, it's like, no, this is just about bullying. I'm like, what? I think it's
Oh, oh,
but I truly think like at the core of bullying and like the hierarchical things too in school like comes from a patriarchy.
yeah.
um like the gym teacher, like all the teachers knew he was being bullied, they did
100%.
nothing, or
100%.
if they did intervene it just like exacerbated the problem.
Yeah.
um
Wow, Eden. I
yeah, so
love that.
that was my read, yeah.
I love toxic masculinity. No, I think that was the right read. You just opened up like a whole new door for me because that's the other thing that I'm so sick of when it comes to
Mhm.
school shooting narratives is the whole bullying thing, the anti-Christian thing. Those two arguments, I'm so tired of them
Mhm.
because they're just saying like, well, bullying is the reason why this happened, almost as if like these kids deserve to have been killed. Like
Yeah.
this is a normal repercussion. Um, and also it makes it seem like it totally takes out the idea of like mental health issues and all these other things, and
Mhm.
it diminishes the deeper story, which also the toxic masculinity is the deeper story because
Yeah.
you could argue that Peter was kind of an incel
Yeah.
by the end of this. Um, like just breaking down Peter. So Peter is the shooter. He's
He's
not alleged.
he's yeah, he admits it.
He admits it. He goes to
We follow
prison.
him.
Shooting.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Peter, and he's like, he loves his best friend Jody. Not Jody, that's the author. Josie. Josie is like his best friend growing up. They really get each other. She sticks up for him. And he like keeps being best friends with her. And her mom kind of separates him a little bit because like Josie is exposed to like a gun in Peter's
Mhm.
home. Like not it's not like a safely contained situation. And
No.
so Alex, who is Josie's mom, is like, I don't want you guys hanging out anymore. This is not safe. And so Peter and Josie start hanging out like secretly at school and stuff like that. And then Josie starts getting hot and
Mhm.
popular. And she kind of starts like leaning away from Peter. Peter gets really hurt. La di da di da. Peter wonders if he's gay because no girls like him and he doesn't really like any girls except for Josie. And
Mhm.
people call him gay, so he's like trying to figure that out. He realizes he's not gay. He loves Josie, but she doesn't love him back. So then he just realizes that he's the worst and that all women are horrible. Like he goes down that kind of spiral,
Mhm.
if I'm remembering that correctly. Um,
His
very
parents
angry.
also ignore him.
What?
His parents also ignore him because, yeah, his
Because he's
brother had died.
drunk
Um,
driving or something, wasn't it?
he was either hit by a drunk driver or he was drunk driving himself. I
Yeah, it
do
was
know, like,
horrible.
he also had heroin that his mother covered up for him.
Yeah. So there's a lot of mental health stuff going on in that home
Mhm.
that people were ignoring. And his mom clearly has like a savior complex situation going on. She's
Mhm.
also a delivery nurse, but like
Oh, right. Yes.
yeah, she even like she hid the fact that her oldest son had heroin in his bedroom from her
Mhm.
husband because she didn't want the son's legacy to
Mhm.
be tarnished. Like there's a
Mhm.
lot there that she's like covering up to make sure everyone's protected in
Yeah.
a way that like was not healthy.
Yeah.
A lot
Yep.
there.
There's
Yeah.
a lot there.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so Peter just like starts hating everyone and decides to use that hatred to just kill everyone, except for Josie, but definitely wants to kill Josie's boyfriend because he also found out that Josie's boyfriend
Is
was
abusive.
abusive.
Mhm.
So there's like incel, also savior complex stuff, just like his mom.
Mhm.
Like, but yeah, there's it's really well done, honestly, looking back.
Yeah. Well,
It's
yeah,
very well done. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that frame, I think, because
Totally.
uh, yeah, it just like really got me riled up, and I almost wrote a personal essay about it.
You still should.
I
What
still
do you think
should.
you would include in there?
Um, I don't remember. I should have mapped it out. It was something along the lines of like, if we don't allow it in the workplace, don't allow it in high school. Like,
Mhm.
if it's something that could get you fired, then that is something that like these are learning places for children, for minors, and like they don't have to go to jail or like, well, depending on the
Right.
severity or whatever. But the repercussions don't have to be as extreme as it would be if you were an adult. But it is an opportunity to learn how to function in the world within safer boundaries than if you were to just be unleashed on the world and just start bullying someone like this. Homophobic, yeah, protected class, uh, in the workplace. And if they continue this in the workplace, they would 100% be fired, 100% be sued if they were running a company, you know.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the essay ideas that I thought about writing about. And then the other one is just in general on what I had mentioned earlier of just toxic masculinity, large scale, small scale.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
do find it ironic that it just made Utah's list of statewide banned books,
Hmm.
considering the rates of domestic violence in Utah that like no one talks about.
Absolutely.
Um,
Well, and also
and
gun
yeah,
violence.
and
Like
gun
there,
violence. Yeah.
yeah, this is ultimately saying like the first step is like Alex saw that there was a gun in this home. She didn't want her kid in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is obviously an anti-gun book, or not obviously, but it could be characterized. It might not be. It might just be like anti-unsafe
Mm-hmm.
gun practices book, which is like a more fair statement about it, which is a normal thing. Anyone who's really passionate about the Second Amendment should also be really passionate about gun safety.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, yeah, it is ironic. There was this. Do you watch Subway Takes?
What is that?
It's on. What is that? That was really cute how you said that. On Instagram, it's this dude named Kareem. He's like a comedian slash content creator actor dude, and he sits on the New York subway and he just asks people like what's their hot take, and they give a hot take. Like one person was like, if you're dating you should never go to restaurants, and he's like, I 100% disagree, that's crazy. And then they tell him
Yeah.
why, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, okay. But it's just like always, it's just delightful people giving their
Mm-hmm.
delightful takes. And one person was like, I believe, and I'll send this to you, but he was like, I think people should feel shame more. Like we need friends should make their friends feel more shame. Like we need to help our friends feel like accountable, because no, everyone is just way too comfortable with letting their friends get away with crap. Like that's not what friends are for. And we're
Mm-hmm.
seeing the effects of that. And I think that's what also is happening, like in schools, like you said, workplace. Like I think we're all too afraid of making of making our friendships weird, that we're
Yeah.
just letting our friends get away with weird stuff. And then we see them blow up their lives and we're like, well, it's their life. We need
Yeah.
to let them have their adulthood. But it's like, no,
Yeah.
no. Like if I would be upset that my sibling did that, I should all like, and if I care about my friend, I should like tell them out of love, like, this is a weird move.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember Eden, we had a friend who was going through something. I don't know if you remember this. I'm not going to give too many details.
Uh-huh.
And we were both like, ooh, probably not a great idea. Probably not a great idea. Like we weren't like explicit, like, you shouldn't, that's the dumbest thing we've ever heard. But we were
Uh-huh.
like, this is why we think that wouldn't be a great idea. Like you might regret it. That's like a forever decision.
Uh-huh.
Um, you made a really intense commitment 2 years ago. Maybe
I remember this is not jogging any memory. So
I'm gonna
off
text you.
mic,
I'm
yeah,
gonna text
text
it to
me.
you right now.
um
But we were both like,
I think that's the kicker though. Like, do we actually care about our friends?
well, do we care about them blowing up their lives or causing suffering, or if they cause their own suffering? Like, do we
Mm-hmm.
care about what happens to people? And I think right now we're in this place where like moral depravity
Mm-hmm.
is like just casual. Um
I'm super excited for this text.
we're in this place where like where
Oh,
moral We're
okay,
like,
yes.
that was like the only real serious thing I think, Eden, that we like had to deal with like, you've dealt
That
with
was the
more
closest.
serious things with friends, I think. Um, but like I think we okay, so I think we're in this place, but this person was like talking about just like how a lot of people are making like horrible choices, and they were
Mm-hmm.
saying like it's because their friends aren't like looking out for them, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not like helping them, like it's okay to feel shame. It is
Yeah.
okay to feel shame and not want to feel shame, and make choices because you don't want to feel shame.
Yeah.
Like make choices that are not shameful.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it is okay, and it's okay to be the friend that helps that friend see that. Like we need to be friends that hold each other accountable, and we're not
Yeah.
doing that anymore as a society. And I thought that was so good. And I think even teachers are like, I don't want to be that teacher with these kids, you know? I could
Mm-hmm.
totally see that. And like, I don't know. But I do remember that with that friend, Eden, when
Uh-huh.
we both were like, well, these are some options. You could make this decision, cut it off with your partner now. Like
Mm-hmm.
this friend was deciding if they wanted to explore things with another person, even though
Mhm.
they were in a committed relationship. We were like, if you want to do that, then you have to like completely cut it off with your partner right now, and then you can
Mhm.
explore, but you can't explore while you're with your partner. Like you have to
Yeah.
like either cut it off completely, or you have to like like really separate yourself from this exploration idea. Like you can't have it
Yep.
both ways in the moment.
Mhm.
And I remember us being pretty firm about that, but also like we want you to be happy, but
Mhm.
you have to have that boundary. Otherwise, this is going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
But we love you.
Yep.
And we'll support you either way. But that's what we're going to say. you can't just you can't just party.
Mhm. Mhm. There are consequences.
Can you tell us a little bit more about like the abuse with Josie and her boyfriend, like that aspect of the toxic masculinity? Because we covered Peter and
Uh-huh.
him, like his incel behavior of like he was entitled to Josie's love, she didn't reciprocate, so then he gets mad, but he's also
Mhm.
being bullied because he's not masculine enough. So that on all
Mhm.
sides, it's horrible. But then the other side too with Josie.
Yes. Okay. So her boyfriend is Matt Royston. Um he is the only victim to have been shot twice. So it to the outsider, it looks like this is the person that the shooter hated most to have shot them twice. You find out later at the end that Josie actually delivered the first shot, and then he was suffering. And so, actually, the final shot from Peter was to the head to like put him out of his suffering, but also probably revenge for all the bullying that he put him through. Okay, so Matt is a hockey player. He's the hottest guy in high school. Everyone loves him. He is like that classic kind to all adults and then like a real a-hole to the kids who don't fit his clique, I guess. Um then he dates Josie, who is the hot stuff on hot the hot girl of the school. And let me see. Let's see. Hold on. I'm just kind of reacquainting myself. Okay, yeah. It actually one of our first interactions with Josie in the book is her kind of tucking her diary away with her suicide note in it. And that was always kind of meant as like a plan B if like things didn't work out for her popularity wise, or like if
Whoa, I don't remember that. That's wild. Woof.
yeah, don't you remember she has like
Yes.
pills or something with her? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And then Matt is also like physically abusive to her. Like he is very sweet at first, but then like little things here or there, he'll like grab her arm so hard that she bruises. He says things like if she breaks up with him or if she were to ever leave him, he would kill himself. Uh, she I'm trying to remember what news she broke to him, but he ended up like driving really erratically, speeding up, kind of scaring, like to the point of scaring Josie, and then yeah, just like a lot of mental health stuff, mental illness there as well. Um, and then he also impregnates her. I believe she miscarries, and then in the end, when the gun is nearby, she shoots him in the stomach. Uh, yeah, and he very much like asserts dominance over her, power over her. Very much, she feels like her identity is tied to him. If she's not with him, then who is she? Um, I also think there is some. I mean, like her conception story too. Like
Mhm.
her mom, her dad, who she never knew. Um, well, she meets him in the book, but didn't grow up without a father. And she finds out later that her father was a law professor who had an affair on his wife with Josie's mother, Alex, who is the judge in this case. It's all
And
intertwined.
her mother was the professor, like the law professor's student at the time.
Yes.
So it
Yep.
was like all very um, inappropriate, boundaryless, not like power imbalance, like just
Mm-hmm.
very abusive,
Yep.
basically. And he kind of threw Alex away once he found out that she was pregnant, and he like almost forced Alex to have an abortion, and she
Uh-huh.
wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So like these are just like this like relationship with men keeps coming up in very calculated and complicated ways. Um, and Alex, like even Alex's relationship with Josie is complicated because Alex is trying to prove that they don't need men, that she
Mm-hmm.
can be all things to Josie, even though she's like not even succeeding at being a mother to Josie. But she
Mm-hmm.
believes that she can be both the judge, the impartial judge, and a caring and sensitive mother to Josie
Mm-hmm.
in this whole trial. And that also doesn't work out. It's
No.
like all very convoluted. Woof.
Yeah.
Patriarchy.
Patriarchy. And it's all intertwined. And now, as we're like talking about this, it's interesting to, yeah, the lengths women go to protect the men in their lives and defend their bad decisions. Like, like going back to Peter's brother who had a heroin addiction and his mother covered it up. Um, yeah, just like not seeking help or like feeling like, well, yeah, not seeking help when your partner is abusing you, but she also didn't have the support to do it. Anyway,
Well, yeah, I
it's
mean,
all.
even Peter's parents, like they saw their older son also bully Peter,
Mm-hmm.
and they still didn't do anything. The dad was kind of a cruppy, cruddy dad to Peter. The mother
Mm-hmm.
still didn't really do anything. You know, like there's all that. Even like Josie's mom never talked about her baby daddy. She could have and
Mm-hmm.
been very open about how crappy of a person he was.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot there. Like they did cover up, they did protect these men in really bizarre ways, which is also very toxic
Yeah.
in ways that they were never held accountable.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, 100%. And then still, like, it ends with Peter being sentenced, and then he ends up dying by suicide in prison. And then
Mm-hmm.
Josie's sentenced to 6 years in prison for shooting Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Because it finally comes out because she, like, doesn't remember any of it. But then she does remember at the very end what happened, which is a trauma thing. But it's also, I don't, like, it's also interesting how Jodi wrote that. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how much she knows about trauma. I don't know how much I know either, but it's very interesting. Eden, you opened up this book in a way that I did not have the capacity to. I think even the topic alone, like, was just so not triggering, but it was just kind of exhausting,
Yeah.
you know? And maybe it is because I've just been so like inundated since as a child, just because we always had a book about school shootings or some sort of content about school shootings given to us every year because those parents would come and talk about how their child was such a Christian and that's why they were killed. And like we got like Bowling for Columbine, and then we'd get another book about death and then another book about teen death, and like it was just like a little overwhelming. So then this book I was like, okay, cool, and this is from someone that's not even attached to a school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I think that kept me pretty closed off from having a nuanced read of it, but you
Mm-hmm.
opened it up in such a way that like thank you so much because sorry that do you hear that wind?
That's wind?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. I thought it was someone whistling.
You wish, baby.
Yeah, I
Who would
do.
be whistling? Like, the
Yeah.
BFGs, like, looking through my window?
Oh,
No,
like
that's wind.
Karina. Yeah, just
Karina's
Karina
like
getting home. Uh-huh.
no, that's wind. It's so scary. That's why we're really scared about fires because it's so dry here. So if anything sparks, it's just gonna.
Mm.
Anyways, you opened it up in such a way that like really made this really insightful and a commentary more about patriarchy, which is the story of mass shootings in America when we really
Yeah.
get down to it, because it is men.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, we have yet to see any sort of numbers change or ratios change with women participating. Maybe there's
Yeah.
been a few women. I don't know the stats right now because there's been so many and I can look at them, but it's
I do have
overwhelmingly men.
it is overwhelmingly men. And I have a link that I can drop in
Please.
our show notes.
That'd be wonderful.
A timeline of school shootings since Columbine. Um, and it's a lot. Not all of them hit, majority of them do not hit the news. So,
No. I
yeah.
mean, just in 2025, I think we had over 200, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Oh, this goes up to. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's depressing. Um, I just started a book called For the Love of Men
Oh,
by
by what's her face?
Liz
She's
Plank.
yeah, love Liz Plank.
Oh, yeah? I had
Love
never
her
heard of
work.
her.
What? She's
Yeah.
so great. She used to be on that podcast with Justin Baldoni.
I don't
And
know who
then
that is.
what with the Blake Lively lawsuit?
Oh, 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 oh.
And then she quickly left when the Blake Lively lawsuit started. So I don't know what that means. But she has this quote where the other guy on the podcast is like one of Justin Baldoni's like producers who's also involved in the Blake Lively lawsuit. But he was asking her, he was like, how are you an authority on men because you're a like you're a woman? Like what how does that make you an authority? And she was like, you're a black man. Wouldn't you say you understand white people much better than white people understand themselves because you've had to study them and you've had to protect yourself from their ways, like
Mm,
historically and generationally? As a woman, I've had to be aware of how men will treat me, how they'll react to me, what they'll do, how they react to other people far more than they've had to be aware of themselves. And like the way she worded that was so good. And I
mm-hmm.
think about that all the time. And
That's
she's like,
pretty good.
Mears, yeah, I'll send you the exact one, but like, let me find the exact quote actually right now. But tell me about For the Love of Men.
For the Love of Men. For the Love of Men. The subtitle is A New Vision for Mindful Masculinity. And it does talk a lot about shame and um and how there is no room for deviation from the quote unquote ideal man, like the man's man, the alpha. And any deviation of that is seen as weakness. Um, and she just talks about like just anecdotes, stories, and I'm hoping to get to the point of get to that new vision for mindful masculinity. She also talks about how like women expect men to be like they uphold that standard for men as well. So like women
Mm,
can be the higher earner and then uh would love to have their meal paid for as well. Whereas a man doesn't have that ability. Like women, there are still expectations on men by women, and then
mm,
so there's male on male expectations, and then female on male expectations as well. So it is a bit of a losing battle for men who want to break out of that um, toxic masculinity, and it's a bit of a safety. It's a safety thing for them too. Like,
Ugh.
how will these other men view them, and how will they treat them if they do not uh, adhere to the script of masculinity?
That makes so much sense. Well, yeah. I mean, and we see that in like I think Jodi makes a good point of that
Mm-hmm.
because Peter doesn't fit to that script, therefore he is called gay in a very um demeaning way,
Mm-hmm.
and he then has to explore that, and then it just gets like, yeah, he's then treated as other
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't fit in that script. Yeah.
Yeah, and even
And it
by his
becomes
own
dangerous
parents
for
too.
him. Yeah, and it becomes dangerous because then he gets beaten
Mm-hmm.
and ostracized, and yeah, it becomes physically dangerous.
Yeah,
Oh, that sucks. That's so interesting. Okay, we should read that book. We should encourage people to read that book.
yeah. I'll put it in the show notes for the love of
Please do.
men. I'm only halfway through, but it is very good.
I love that. The quote by Liz Plank that I was going to say is that she says, when his name is Jamie Heath, he goes, "What makes you qualified to have a discussion, to be a voice where men are talking about um, what makes you what makes you qualified to be part of that conversation about being man enough and have a voice?" And she goes, the same thing that makes you most qualified to have a conversation about whiteness, that you as a black man understand whiteness far more than I understand it or other white people can understand it. And if it's not to say that it's your labor or your work, but you actually can teach us way more about it because you have had to deal with it every single minute when you're the oppressed group. You know everything about the oppressor. You know things that don't even know about themselves. And the
Mm,
argument is like, as women, we have to deal with men every single second in ways that they don't even understand about themselves, which is
yeah,
her quote.
that's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. She's Liz Plank. She's a cool gal. She's a complicated gal. Complicated gal? Cool gal. Doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Uh, did you ever read James, Percy James
loved,
Everett?
loved it.
That makes me think of that quote. Makes me think of that book of just James teaching the children like how to act in front of uh
Mm-hmm.
the white plantation owners in order to like stroke their ego enough to make them feel like they're
Mm-hmm.
teaching you.
Mm-hmm.
Never like never show any sort of intelligence that would intimidate them or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's code switching.
Yeah.
It's the lesson in code switching. I mean, you have to be deeply intelligent and aware of your audience to be able to code switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like those who are the recipient of someone who's a master in code switching, which is usually the white population, we're usually the recipients of masters in code switching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, we can't even comprehend. Like people are so mad at Jasmine Crockett for being brilliant in code switching. But it's because she knows white audiences. She
Yeah.
knows how to talk to us in ways that like we care about. And she also knows how to talk to like her own peers and friends and family in ways that she's comfortable and her friends are comfortable. Like, yeah, it's the James thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
code switching is that skill set. And it just means that you know the people better than they know themselves to be able
Yeah.
to play that role.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Okay, why do you think it was banned?
Okay. I'm thinking now about Utah specifically, and
Mm.
I'm gonna say it's because of the violence. I'm gonna say that's the only reason why. I don't think that. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's the violence. I'm gonna say because there's shooting in it and there's cursing.
Yeah, I think it's a so I wrote down language and gun violence.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, let's see.
And probably just because of the Charlie Kirk assassination this last year. Uh,
Oh,
this in 6 months ago, I think, because it's a new banning, right?
it's a new
It's
banning, yeah.
newly banned. So
Yeah,
I think they're like, we don't want this to incite anything.
I'd be surprised if this is in the Assassin's Manifesto. 19
Oh,
minutes. My Jodi Picoult.
oh, what was in the Assassin's Manifesto was, yo, this was literally just 4chan memes.
Uh-huh. Okay. Um okay, in 2022, which is why I was surprised this was written in 2007.
Okay.
Because it was in 2022, 19 Minutes was listed among 52 books banned by the Alpine School District in
Mm.
Utah, following the implementation of the sensitive materials in schools. As of 2025, according to PEN America, it was the book most sanctioned by U.S. school districts in the U.S. with 98 bans.
Is it because they think like that mass shootings aren't real, or that they think
No,
it'll inspire mass shootings?
it does not even talk about mass shootings. Okay, according to the
Okay, cool.
author, the reason most commonly cited for the bans is her use on page 313 of the word erection. 42% of removed books feature LGBTQ plus characters and or themes. Oh, this is 42% of the 52 books? Okay, that's all I really got.
Wow, because of the word erection?
The word erection, and because the character was exploring his sexuality,
Oh my gosh, so not the mass shootings, not all the
not the mass
murders?
shootings. Nope.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Jodi said, having the most banned book in the country is not a badge of honor, it's a call for alarm. 19 Minutes is banned not because it's about a school shooting, but the but because of a single page that depicts a date rape and uses anatomically correct words for the human body. It is not gratuitous or salacious, and it is not, as the book banners claim, porn. In fact, hundreds of kids had told me that reading 19 Minutes stopped them from committing a school shooting or showed them that they were not alone in feeling isolated. My book and the 10,000 others that have been pulled off school library shelves this year give kids a tool to deal with an increasingly divided and difficult world. These book banners are not helping children, they are harming them. It was a previous episode where someone just like put in a list of books and said, pull, like, show me the ones that have like the word sex in them or whatever. And then it like
Mhm.
spat out a list. So I wonder if they did that for like, show me books that, I mean, this was 2022. I wonder if they just like put body parts in there and just said any books that says penis or erection or anything and just ban it.
Ew, that
That's
person's search history's gotta be wild.
yeah. Oh, anyway,
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's close. Let's
let's
close.
close.
The wind is getting bigger. It's getting louder.
Big wind, big
Big
wind.
wind. Big wind. Thank you so much, Eden, for opening this book for me. Like, you really changed it for me, and I am much more excited about it. So, thank you.
I'm glad. Yeah. Thank you for chatting with me about it.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Um,
All right.
okay. I love this. Dun dun dun.
Burn
Um,
this. Burn This Book was produced by us, Eden and Nicole.
and music was written by me and performed by my dad, Frank. And also join us we've got some good episodes coming up. So keep reading. And also in this time of scaries, read. Keep reading. It is the best tool, as well as protesting and writing your representatives and protesting and checking on your neighbors and talking to them and feeding people. Building community. Okay, love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.